Hello, my respected viewers. Today is March 14th. We have our traditional review of events on the fronts of the Ukrainian war. The events are very interesting, especially in the Donetsk sector. Yesterday we noted in our review that the enemy, understanding all the problems they are facing in the Krasnogovka area, begins to move reserves to this sector. Today, or rather yesterday, it developed. Our units continue to develop their success here. The breakthrough that the guys made across the river, in fact, this heroic act largely predetermined the further events it is developing. Our troops are already advancing from the southern part of Pervomaisky, thanks to the fact that we were able to cut off part of the enemy's communications in this fortified area. They are moving forward, and there is information that in the southern central part of Pervomaisky, as of this morning, the enemy has abandoned. Our troops are simply engaged. Now it's quite clear, if everything goes on the same way as it was yesterday or the day before, there is a chance that already today these two mini pincers of ours will connect with each other, and the enemy will face new problems with holding the fortifications between Nevelskoye and Pervomaisky. It is getting harder every day, and I think that tomorrow the opponents will already be pressed for time. They will have to make a decision, either to withdraw them to the west or the enemy will be encircled there. The successful development of our offensive to the south of Krasnogovka continues. Between Krasnogovka and Georgiivka, our troops are clearing the territory of Polya. They took over a local natural hillock yesterday between these settlements. Generally, they are driving the enemy out of this so-called interfluve, and accordingly, they are creating stable flanks and rears for those units that are now preparing to storm the central part. In Krasnogovka, preparations are actively being conducted, including by our aerospace forces, who launch daily strikes with planned aerial bombs against the enemy in the city. That is, the situation for the enemy in Krasnogovka is getting worse literally every day. The removal of reserves from the areas of Berdichi, Orlovka, and Tonenki is also already benefiting us. Our troops continue to clear the territory between Berdichi, Orlovka, and Tonenki. There were advancements yesterday. There's progress. There's been forward movement. And yesterday, our forces, after nearly 10 days of pause, resumed their attacking actions, specifically in Berdichi. That is, as soon as the pressure from the enemy eases, we aim to push the enemy backward and drive them away from the positions they have occupied. It may not be far, but they managed to capture several strongholds. Here, our troops are also regaining the initiative. And yesterday, finally, in his reports, the enemy acknowledged our successes in the Novomikhailivka area, meaning knockout. He admitted as well that our troops are taking over the northern villages, and correspondingly, I'm also waiting for good news from this area, because for several days we've had powerful operations going on by our artillerymen and pilots, and good news started coming in yesterday from the Chasivyar direction, where our troops continue to develop their success between Ivanovskoye and Klishchevka. They are trying to advance on the hill between these two settlements, and the enemy also notes the success of our actions here. There is progress. But in general, all of this is connected to the fact that our troops occupy the gray zone that formed after the enemy's positions here were literally scorched by our aviation, artillery, and drone. Regardless, this is also progress, and the enemy has to somehow hold it back. These are the main directions in which our offensive is developing. But also no less important are those places where our troops, with their active actions, hold back the enemy and do not allow him to transfer those reserves, which are now in a major deficit for him. These are the Lyman, Kupiansk, and Zaporizhia directions. These are the main events that took place over the past day.